You're just barely going across the top. Going to go all the way off the other side. Today what we're doing, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make coasters. And I'm going to start from the beginning because I know that if you're new to trying to make coasters, let's say that you're new in fluid art, you really don't know where to start. So I'm going to start at the beginning and see if I can talk us through this. The tiles I'm going to be using today, I got at Floor and Decor. And I don't know if there's one of those near you or not, but what I like about these is that they don't have the spacers on them. You know those little nubs that are on the sides? These don't have those, or I should say they have them, but they're so mild you can hardly see them. And this makes such a beautiful coaster. Also, it's $20.25 right now, and these were 11 cents each. So if you're watching this later, I don't know what tiles will cost, but these are just tiles that I get at Floor and Decor. All right, so first I want to talk to you about how I mix up my paints. So I've done the Shelly Art Blooms now for almost 2 years, and I've really struggled with the pouring medium and using Behr paints in it, for example, Behr Paint Dynasty, the different kinds of house paints in it. And I've really struggled with those because once I put in the Josanya varnish, in my case, something goes awry, and no matter what I do, those blooms that I try to make kind of melt in. And maybe you've had that problem too. So I did find someone who's using something different. Her name is Mina Valega. And I might have pronounced that wrong, but she uses Golden's heavy gloss gel. So I'm using that too. Now you don't need to get it in a bucket this big. I did because I do a lot of painting. And also she uses regular Floetrol. Now you can buy Floetrol, it's called Flood Floetrol. And you can buy this at Lowe's. You can get it on Amazon, anywhere. This is not the same as Australian Floetrol. That's different. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But Flood Floetrol, I mix these together 1-to-1. And then that makes a pouring medium that I can then mix my paint into. And I'm going to kind of show it to you here. Here's the pouring medium. And it's just this very, very thick liquid. And because I do it 1-to-1, then depending on what project I'm doing, I can thin it down with Floetrol and water. So I just mix these two together. Now, an important thing to know is if you just put if you're doing 1-to-1 and you just put your heavy gloss gel in and then you put, let's say you do 8 ounces and you put 8 ounces of Floetrol in and you stir that up, you're going to have cloddy mess. You really want to add the Floetrol little by little, like if you're making gravy or something like that, or you're adding a little in, stirring it up, adding a little in, stirring it up, and that'll help you. Okay, so I mix those two together, then I put them in a cup, and then I add my paint. So here's a great example. Here's a paint that I did. And what I did was I just had the white mixture in there that I just showed you. I added a little bit of paint to that and stirred it up. And then if it needs thinning, I'll thin it with Floetrol and water. And what I'm going for is a mixture where it comes off. I like it where it comes off the spoon, but just barely. It's so thick. And that's what we're going to be using today to make our blooms, okay? So I just keep thinning it down really carefully with a little Floetrol, a little water until I get it just like that. Okay, and then I've checked all my paint today to make sure they're all the same consistency. But that's what you're going for. So you're mixing paint with your pouring medium, okay, and Floetrol. So if you're looking online on how to make coasters and you hear them talk about a pouring medium, that's what people are using. Something besides, you can't just do paint on your item. You've got to mix it with something. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, next I want to talk about the cell activator. The cell activator plays a really important part in making those cells and lacing that you see people making. Now I've put titanium white from Amsterdam in here, and then I've added Australian Floetrol, and that looks different. It's not the same thing. So when you're looking for Australian Floetrol, you want to find that online or at Fluid Art fluid-art.co, fluid-art.co. They have it there. But make sure you're getting Australian Floetrol, and you're not mixing this into that pouring medium at all. You're mixing it in with your titanium white paint. And that's what makes this Floetrol. And I kind of want to show you what this is. Now this is even thinner because I want it to be thinner than the paints that I'm going to bloom over. So I've carefully mixed this up, adding Floetrol to the paint until I got it to the right consistency. Again, it's like gravy. You don't just dump them both together. You go slow. That way it'll mix really well. We all understand gravy since Thanksgiving just happened, maybe. But anyway, okay, so here we go. So when we're talking about pillow paint, so we're making a bloom today, so we want a pillow paint, then our colors, then our cell activator on top of that, and then we're going to blow it. And that's what's going to make those patterns. So for a great pillow paint, there's many you can use, but what I like to use is Color to Go by Sherwin-Williams. You can get, for about $5 or $6, you can get a quart of it, and that lasts a long time. You can get it in all different colors. It works fantastic. This color is called Egret that we're going to be using today, but you're going to be using pillow paint, colors, cell activator. Okay, so let's get going here. We go. Now, after you make your coaster and you get all the colors on it, you're going to want to spin it. You don't have to, but it works really well if you do. Now, I use the Erica Hughes spinner, but there's cake spinners, there's all kinds of spinners you can get. I'll link to some down below in case that's something that you want to get. Another item we're going to be using today is a butane torch. Now, this is a kitchen torch. I got mine off Amazon from the kitchen tools section. First, I ruined my daughter's when I borrowed that. But basically, it's a kitchen torch, and you use it to get the bubbles out on the projects that you're making. You wave it over the project, and the bubbles pop. So I'm going to show you that in a few minutes. And let's keep going with Coasters 101. Here we go. All right, so let's start out by putting some of our paint on. We're going to use our pillow paint, and you really need maybe like 2 to 3 tablespoons worth. You don't need as much as you think, right? And so we're going to put this on next. Okay. I like to spread it out slightly. Okay. And next come our colors. So we're going to start with Winsor Newton Cerulean Blue. And I'm just going to put them in a little pile on here. Okay. Notice mine's pretty thick. It's very, very thick. Next up, Amsterdam Prussian Blue. All right, so these are the colors I picked, but they might not be colors that you have. You can come up with your own color scheme. This is just a color scheme that I think would look nice, so I've chosen. All right, so next I'm going to pop the bubbles. You can see bubbles all over the top of it. So I'm just going to pop those. See them pop? I think you can see them. Now, when you're using this, Coaster 101, don't put this really close because you'll burn the paint. And of course, you want to take the right precautions so that you don't start a fire. Make sure you're very careful when you're using them. But that looks good. I've got those off. Okay, now I'm ready to keep going. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my cell activator on, and then I'm going to blow it with my blower. And one thing I've found is that you don't want to wait a long time in between. Once you get this on, you're going to blow right away. Okay? So here we go. And also, don't use too much. You don't need too much. All right. Oh, this is going to be just beautiful. Okay, let's get our blower going. This is my favorite blower. I'll link to it down below. Here I'm just using the blower to try to move that little pile of cell activator over the top of the other colors. I don't blow hard down into it, just try to skid that white cell activator over the top. Very cool. So you can see that now the bloom is blown out and I do have some cells starting. but I'd like some more cells. So I'm going to use a straw and blow down in it, and that's going to help some more pop up. So I blew down in it with my straw, and you can see more cells appearing. Now I'm also going to pop the bubbles again. There we go. And sometimes that makes more cells appear. And the next thing we're going to do is do some slow rotations to make our bloom bigger and help it spread. Now these are colors that are very popular at craft shows. They're popular when they give as gifts. So that's why I chose them. Ooh, we're getting a little purple now on the edges. Beautiful. Let's keep going. Let's speed it up a little more now. You can see it's going over the sides. That's what I want. Pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Let's do some more. Whoops. Ooh, give it a little more. Give it the gas there. And you can see that the edges need a little work. See how it hasn't gone over the edges yet? So that's pretty easy. You can take a palette knife or a spoon or whatever you have and go over the edges. This will just help so when the paint is flowing over, it kind of helps it along. But you really want to make sure your sides are all covered. See, oh, what a beautiful bloom that is. And it's still happening, right? It's going to take a while, and it will still have color coming through. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is just keep it going. And I'm going to have a beautiful coaster when this is done. Look at that. That is beautiful. Now this white is going to keep changing, but since I'm done with it, I'm going to go ahead and set it on a cup and start the next one. Okay, so now we're going to do another tile, same thing. We're going to put our pillow paint down and our colors. All right, this time I think what we're going to do is we're going to just splash them all over, okay? So just to show you what it's like, you can make tiles any way you want, but on this one, we're just going to splash the color on. Okay, next up is our light blue violet. Splash the color on here. Okay, you don't have to put them all in a pile. And then Prussian blue. Hammerhead. I just want to show you how, changing it up can change a tile so much. Ball gown. Phthalo blue. Sky blue. Again, mine's thick on purpose. I like it like that. Cell activator next. This time we're going to use a playing card. You've got one of these at home, right? Probably going to wreck a whole deck. But we're going to use a playing card and we're just going to swipe it across it. So just a plain old playing card. And I'm going to put my cell activator on there. Just like this. All right, see that? Cell activator, and I'm just going to pull it right across the paint. It's kind of like frosting a cake. You're just barely going across the top. Going to go all the way off the other side. There we go. Wow, see all those colors coming in? That's what I love about making these things. So beautiful. This is going to be a beautiful coaster. You can really see the colors coming up. And we're going to go ahead and pop the bubbles in it. I can see them popping. I don't know if you can see that from the overhead camera, but I can see them popping. And oh, how beautiful this is going to be. Those beautiful purples in there are so great. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, I appreciate it if you do. If you've been subscribed already, hey, thanks, and thanks for coming back. I hope to have more episodes like this where we can learn more about this. All right, so I think that's good enough so we can keep going. We're just going to do some slow spins. I can see, oh, wow, is that beautiful? Wow, just beautiful. I'm going to move it back a little bit. Just give it some nice slow spins. Oh, this is going to be a beautiful coaster set. This white cell activator should fill in, but you know, if you're doing this and you want to take your straw and bring up more cells, you can. See them coming up? See how well that works? That's really just pushing that cell activator down in. And the other paint popping up. Oh, here we go. We're going to do some more slow spins. Oh, how beautiful is that? Wow. Look at those colors. Let's take a little bit of paint and do the edges. This isn't going to show because it's going to be coming off the edge as we keep spinning. These colors are coming up. Let's give it another good spin. Wow, beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. Now, it still seems kind of thick with paint, so I'm going to go just a little bit longer. And I know that as it sits to dry, too, this part will come up more. And I could do things like I could embellish it more, but I just like it the way it is. So let me give it a little more spin. And then I'm going to put it up to dry. I'm going to do a flyover so you can see it. And you've just graduated from Coasters 101. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye.